Donald Peterson presents the true adventures of Junior G-Men.
The Junior G-Men are on the air, speeding to your homes, ready for action!
Stand by. All Junior G-Men, stand by. Stand by for thrilling details concerning the vacant lot. Calling all Junior G-Men. Calling all Junior G-Men. Stand by for report of Junior G-Men. Huey gun concerning
The vacant lot.
Report number 906 is given by Operator Huey Gunn of Hillcrest.
My dad owns a small radio store, which happens to be located in a 3-story building down on Front Street. The store, of course, is on the ground floor. We live on the 2nd floor ourselves, and the 3rd floor, sort of loft, has always been vacant. That's how it happened that Dad arranged with the owner of the building to use the loft as a sort of temporary storeroom until a tenant was found. Well, late one afternoon several weeks ago, while Dad and I were talking together in the store, Mr. Keller, the owner of the building, walked in. There was another man with him.
Well, Mr. Gunn, I suppose you'll be surprised to hear that I finally managed to rent the loft.
Well, that's fine, Mr. Keller. I'm glad to hear it.
This gentleman right here, Mr. Weber, is the tenant.
How do you do, Mr. Weber?
Hi.
This is my son, Hugh.
Hello.
How do you do, sir?
I thought it best that you got to know each other without delay. After all, if you're going to be neighbors living in the same house...
I'm afraid I'm not much on the neighbor's stuff. I just mind my own business, and, well, I can't expect everyone else to do the same. You get what I mean?
Well, yes, I think so, Mr. Weber. You made your point very clear.
That's the way I am. I never waste no time. And that reminds me, I'm moving in tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Well, then that means
That means you got a job on your hands. I want that loft cleaned out by tomorrow morning. All that junk of yours has to be moved.
I think Mr. Gunn realizes that, Mr. Weber, and I'm sure he won't have any objections. How about it, Mr. Gunn? Am I right?
Now, of course you are, Mr. Keller. I'll move that stuff out the first thing in the morning.
Well, there you are, Mr. Weber. What did I tell you?
Well, you can't hate a guy for wanting to be sure, can you?
Well, no, of course not. Well, suppose we leave the whole thing to Mr. Gunn. I'm sure everything will be just the way you want it.
I hope so. But come on, let's scram along. I've got things to do.
Of course. Good afternoon, Mr. Gunn.
Good afternoon.
Goodbye, Huey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keller.
So long. I'll be seeing you.
Bye.
Well, Huey, how do you like Mr. Weber?
Gosh, Dad, I don't know what to say.
He was rather tough, wasn't he? Sort of man you'd expect to... Yeah, it seems to me you're looking for trouble. Well, and if we're not careful, we're going to find something. Now, what do you say? Let's just forget about the whole thing.
Well, the next day happened to be a Saturday, and Dad had an unusually busy morning. I helped him as much as I could, of course, and then along about noon, things began to quiet down a bit. We just about had time to catch our breath when all of a sudden...
Here comes trouble. Good morning, Mr. Weber.
Good afternoon. Well, is the loft cleaned out yet?
Well, I meant to go up there right after lunch, just to see...
Last night you said you was going up there first thing in the morning.
Well, I was...
Well, that's what you did say, didn't you?
Yes, Mr. Whitmer. That's exactly what I said.
Well, then why didn't you keep your word? Why didn't you go up there and do
I'm afraid you don't quite understand, Mr. Weber. I have a very nice little business here, and I can't very well neglect it. Now, it just so happened that I had an unusually busy...
Yeah, I know. You had an unusually busy morning. So what?
So I suppose I can consider myself very fortunate.
Yeah, smart guy, huh? Well, listen, mister. I don't like smart guys, see? Not a bit.
Neither do I. But please, Mr. Weber, let's not...
Yeah, the kid's here doing nothing. Why didn't you send him up? He'd have cleaned the joint out in a minute.
Not that it's any of your business, Mr. Weber, but my son was needed right here. And I don't think you have any right to tell...
mister, I got a hunch you and me ain't gonna get along so good.
That's funny. I have a hunch your hunch is a good one.
Maybe I ought to hand you a sock and a kisser just for luck.
I wouldn't try it if I were you, Weber.
No, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe you think... Yeah, nuts. You gonna clean out that loft?
Yes, Mr. Weber, right after lunch.
Well, Okay. But see, you don't forget.
Don't worry, Mr. Weber. I won't forget. And that seems to be that.
Gosh, Dad, what a guy.
A real tough guy, you hear. And a barking dog if ever I saw one. All bark and no bite. Well, come on, let's get our lunch. So we can get to work on that loft. If I can possibly help it, I'm not going to. He's just the sort of man.
Well, Dad and I cleaned out the loft, and Mr. Weber moved in that very same afternoon. From then on, we didn't see very much of him, and we weren't a bit sorry. Then one afternoon, a couple of weeks later...
You haven't said a word in the last 20 minutes, Huey. Not since you started reading that newspaper. What's so interesting?
Well, I was just reading about all the counterfeit $10 bills that are showing up.
Oh, I see.
Gosh, according to this report, Hillcrest is just about flooded with them.
Just about, son.
You haven't been stuck, have you, Dad?
No, that is not yet.
Well, you don't expect to be, do you?
Not exactly, son. However, I can't be sure that I won't be. These bills are supposed to be pretty nearly perfect, and, well, it was just this morning that I heard about the butcher having been stuck twice.
Twice?
Yeah, twice. There isn't anything he can do about it, either. He doesn't know where he got the bills. And although he's tried to find out, he hasn't met with any success. It's a shame, too.
Gosh, yes, it certainly is. I certainly hope you don't get stuck.
Oh, the same here, son. Don't you worry about it. It's very seldom that I... Well, look here, son. I've wasted enough time. A whole load of repair jobs came in this morning, and, well, I've got enough work to keep me busy for a week.
Anything I can do for you, Dad?
I'm afraid not, Huey. Not right now, at any rate.
There's something the matter with our own set, Dad. Gosh, it's been crackling like the dickens. Almost a week now.
Yes, I know, and I've had an idea it's our area that's to blame.
Well, if that's the case, I can probably take care of the trouble myself. Suppose I take a trip up to the roof and have a look at it.
I'd rather you wait until this morning, till this evening, son. I'll be able to go up with you then, and I won't have to be worrying about your falling off the roof or through the skylight. Besides, I've been thinking of taking down the old aerial and putting up a new one. Seems to me that we'd get much better results.
That evening, just before dark, Dad and I went up to the roof to have a look at the aerial. It was pretty cold up there, too. The wind was blowing.
Now, be careful, son. Be careful. Don't get too close to the edge there.
Don't worry, Dad. I won't. I'll stay right here by the skylight.
Okay, just as long as you don't lose your balance and fall through.
And if I did, I'd probably land right in Mr. Weber's lap. He's sitting right beneath it, working on some kind of a machine or...
Hold it, son.
What's the matter, Dad?
I think I found the trouble. The cause of all that crackling we've been getting on our set. I'm pretty sure that this strand of wire is... Oh, now, just a second. Wait till I make sure.
Okay. Gee whiz, it sure is cold up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. The sooner we get back inside, the better I'll like it, too.
Can I do anything to help you?
No, not a thing. Just stay where you are, boy.
Right. Dad.
What's the matter?
Come here, Dad. Hurry. Hurry.
Huey, I'm trying to fix this aerial.
Please, Dad, before it's too late.
Okay, son. I'll be with you in a second. Now, what's it all about here?
Well, easy, Dad. If he should hear us, it'd be just too bad.
What are you talking about, son? Why all the mystery?
Look, Dad, through the skylight. Down there in the loft. See him?
Oh, you mean Weber?
Yeah. Do you see him?
Of course I do, but what?
See what he's doing, Dad? See that machine he's working on?
Just a second. Wait till I have a good look. Why, it seems to be a press. A small printing press. One of the kind that's worked by hand.
Yeah, sure. But don't you see what he's doing?
He seems to be...
He's making counterfeit $10 bills. Dad.
Counterfeit? Wait a minute.
Don't you see that stack of them on that little table? Don't you see that...
Oh, you're right, son. You're right. Those are $10 bills. And he's printing them. So that's what Weber is. A counterfeit.
Gee whiz, Dad, what a break to stumble onto a thing like this.
Look out, son. Look out. He's looking up. Lean back a bit. Lean back. Away from the edge of the skylight.
Okay, there.
That's it. Hold it. Just stay there for a second. As soon as he starts working that press again, we'll be get back inside.
You're going to get in touch with the police, aren't you,
Of
Dad?
course, son, of course. I have a hunch this is a bit of information they'll be mighty glad to get a hold of. Why, I'm almost sure Weber's the man responsible.
Just as soon as Dad figured it was safe to move away from that skylight, we beat it back into the building and down to the second floor. Once we were inside our apartment, Dad immediately called headquarters and told the whole story. The officer who took the report promised to have the lead investigated without delay. And that same night, as a couple of detectives made their way up to the third floor...
Holy cat, Terry, did you hear that?
What do you think, I'm deaf?
Why is it that stairs always creak at just the
Come
top?
on, will you? We've got work to do.
Okay.
Now, take it easy, will you? Try not to. Hold it. But it is all right at press. And that means we can snare this guy with the goods right on him. But come on, let's get moving.
Right.
Now, wait. Hold it.
Okay.
You see that door?
Yeah, sure. What about it?
We're gonna smack it, see? And it's gonna go the first time, but there won't be any second chance. So give it all you got.
Right.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Then, let's go.
Reach, mister, and make it high.
Couple of wise guys, ain't you?
Yeah, plenty wise. Grab up the evidence, King. All of it.
Okay.
Nice layout you got here, fella. Very nice.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, kind of sweet racket you had, too. Put a lot of phony dough into circulation, didn't you?
Enough?
Yeah, plenty. Too much, in fact. That's why we're just going to have you put out of circulation. Yes, it'll be a long time, I guess, before you start doing anything.
That's the reason the loft is vacant again. And the reason for certain Mr. Weber's being in state's prison. And now, well, so long, fellas, and lots of luck.
Stand by, all Junior G-men, stand by. Stand by for thrilling details concerning the next broadcast. Calling all Junior G-men to proceed at once to points of duty. Calling Junior G-men 819 to report to Director Donald Peterson at the next meeting on this station to give detailed report concerning...
Another thrilling Junior G-Man adventure.